Well, I don't use changelogs. I'm actually not your standard developer. I've never been able to figure out how to do that kind of stuff. I have a social, but I'm developing a recognizing textual entailment system that, given to, like, radar has an example. If you look at the capabilities of radar, you'll see the last two are really the same. So formalized is a system that uses it uses what's called a logic form parser, and I'm trying to model off of this system called Groundhog, which is the top recognizing textual entailment. RTE is if you have two sentences, does one imply the other? Or if you have the first sentence, does it imply the second sentence? That's what RTE is asking. So that takes a while to load. I'll see if I can't. I wonder why that didn't assert. It was supposed to. So if I wanted to say that this, okay, so there's the output of the logic form parser. You can see radar is X1, then need radar B. Okay, this parse failed if you look at able. So yes, but apparently the logic form parser is competitive with state-of-the-art one. So, but yeah, I have to flesh out the cases. But so if we try to assert this, oh, that's right. Okay, that looks like a network. Yeah, so you see it asserted that into the knowledge base. That's the free KBS knowledge base. It's very inefficient. They have much better systems out there, but it's a nice interface that I'm working, allowing you to assert things from Emacs into relations like that, completed, etc. So
I'm sorry, was it free KBS?
Yeah, it stands for Free Knowledge Base System.
Okay.
And if you look at it, those are most of the those are the different operations that you can use under Emacs. All the key bindings here need to be remapped more effectively. That's a different project. That's KMax. Refactoring all of the Emacs key bindings to be more efficient using the Emacs and everything. So, okay, so I'm off track. I just wanted to show you some of the different systems that are in the day-to-day use of the project. So that's CSO. So there's a non-free tool called MNOP that can link the entries, and they're also studying that at the FOSMO project. So that should be done relatively shortly. Also like to create a web spider that indexes metasites. And a metasite is like
Yeah, I actually read this. Is this the thread on your site?
yeah. I'm trying to get to the meta site. There it is. Right, so this is an example of a meta site. So, there's tools described on the site, and then obviously we want to add them to the ontology of software, because not all tools get put up on FreshMe or SourceForge or any of the other major meta sites. So there's a lot of small meta sites that have I found some extremely useful software on these sites, and so right now the way to do it is with radar. You just say radar. And then you say it's a URL. It's a page containing down. Well, actually, it's not. It doesn't contain any downloads. But so I messed up. You would say it's a meta site. I think there's a way to say that. Yeah, meta site links to projects, and then it stores it in the archive. And I have a system for parsing those called MDR, and MDR just doesn't work very well at the moment. It uses an information extraction technique to try to pull it out, but I haven't finished that program. But I think it could be useful for extracting from meta sites.
What's the name of the extraction technique?
Mining data records. And I think I mentioned that in the lecture here. Okay, so yeah, process of finding, create a web spider. At one point I was using this tool called WebKB2, and it has a classified database of researchers' websites, but it wouldn't classify accurately enough for the purposes of retrieving software. So the spider, I think it's called Crawler, is the name of the current spider project. I don't know what's in it. So yeah, it's all been thought out pretty well, I think, how to go about collecting random false output. Okay, so we want to map out the relations between software systems, obviously performing natural language processing on their documentation is a good way to do that. And then we can make deductions about how their capabilities can be incorporated. Licensing restrictions. We want to, so the archive is used at your own risk. We definitely want to petition people who have written software that hasn't been released under a free license, because that obviously increases the utility to us and to everyone who should use the packages. One of the nice things about Packager, the system for making packages, is that we already have a large training and testing data set, the existing Debian archive and the RGZ files. So that's the upstream source and the final package. So it won't be that hard to add methods that aid in the automatic packaging. That's a proper way to do it. Right now, I'll show you how to package in just a second, or how this packages in just a second. Yeah, so to determine if it's free or not, Falsology was released, so we're in the clear as far as that goes. Falsology is hard to install, and half the time I can't get software to compile. So it would be, that's another reason. People have different abilities in terms of actually getting it to compile. It's a learned skill and configure it. It's very hard to configure Falsology, I think. So Architect, like I mentioned, is the kind of far-fetched or ambitious tool for figuring out how to apply software based on, we saw earlier that we can assert needed capabilities here. So architect sees, it's like a software architect.